In the world, there are a lot of things that we may never fully grasp. Among those is the ocean, which covers over 3/4 of the planet. If you take a serious look at how much of the ocean we have mapped out, you would see that it's only about 5%, which isn't really a big number. And because of this, we're constantly discovering about the incredibly horrific creatures that inhabit that area. With that in mind, let's take a look at some of the most horrifying sea monsters that are real. Number 1. Even if some of you might not consider stingrays to be monsters, they are nonetheless dangerous animals that you should not disturb. Stingrays are like monsters. Their bodies are unlike those of many other marine organisms. They are flat, move in strange ways, and can practically fly through the water to get around. The largest stingray ever recorded was a freshwater stingray that measured approximately 4 meters in length and weighed more than 300 kilograms. Most people consider this species to be monstrous because of their sharp tails, which can be either serrated or barbed depending on the species. That really is one of the most dangerous things. Given that some of these stingray species have venom in their tails, it's not like a sword or knife that cuts into you. Rather, it's a true jab that will pierce inside and create some serious issues depending on where it may hit. Steve Irwin, a renowned conservationist and wildman, was killed by a stingray when one of their tail spikes punctured his heart through his rib cage. Never believe anyone who tells you that these creatures are not deadly. Stingrays can sometimes be found living in freshwater areas and hiding in the mud of the ocean where people can trip over them and get shocked. Number 2. Although the Japanese spider crab isn't particularly a monster that would kill you, it is the largest species of crab in the world in terms of length, which is why it appears on our list. When you compare the length of the Japanese spider crab to other species, it seems like this one is the odd one out. The other mega crabs in the world are the coconut crab, which is one of the largest due to bulk rather than length, so you might be wondering, how big is this crab lengthwise? The record that they set is 3.7 meters from leg end to leg end, which is significant because, although its core body is not particularly large in comparison, its legs have a really long reach. It terrified Japanese fishermen when they first saw it. In fact, they gave it the nickname Crabzilla, and it makes sense why they would think so. However, despite its size, it's not the most aggressive creature in the ocean. Rather, it prefers to blend in with the depths to avoid being discovered by predators, and it has a hard exoskeleton for protection. Number 3. This next creature isn't exactly something to be afraid of, but even so, it's still terrifying when you consider how strong and cunning a hunter it can be. What makes the East Pacific red octopus so monstrous that it deserves to be on this list? Well, that would be what it does when it finds its prey. At its maximum length, it is not even a meter long, and its body is said to be multiple times smaller than its surrounding tentacles. It is not the biggest fish in the sea, especially when compared to other species. The East Pacific red octopus is a flexible predator, which means that it hunts down a variety of prey instead of just one specific kind. This is significant because it implies that it will consume anything it finds appetizing. However, what's even more terrifying is what happens when it captures specific types of prey. First, it will start to change color to announce its victory. It will then drill a hole through the shell of its prey to deliver venom and more easily open it up. Number 4. There's one creature known as the sea pig that can be quite terrifying. For instance, they can survive approximately 5,000 meters below sea level, which is extremely low, and they do so quite well. In addition, they are known to eat dead whales from the ocean, and lastly, they are known by traveling in groups of swarms along the ocean, meaning they are never alone. Number 5. Now, we know that the sea cucumber may not seem like the most terrifying creature on this list, but trust me when I say that it has a purpose for existing. This reason is that in addition to secreting a toxin that could harm you if you touch it, it also possesses an infamous and disgusting trait that causes it to literally throw its organs at any approaching predator in an attempt to escape. Yes, those organs contain some toxins, but it's just shocking that they would do such a thing. Number 6. You may assume that because sharks are naturally vicious, there will be a lot of them on this list, but you would be mistaken. But I decided to include the goblin shark for various reasons. First and foremost, this creature is terrifying because of its age, roughly 125 million years old. Granted, they are not that old individually, but they are the last surviving members of a family that can be traced back to that era, making them living fossils. It begs the issue of what more from that era might be floating around in the oceans today, which is why it's unsettling. The goblin shark's other reason is because of its appearance. To start, it looks pretty scary and doesn't resemble any other shark you've seen. However, when you learn about what it can do with its mouth, it's like a certain creature from a horror movie. It can actually bite its prey by sticking its mouth outside of its head. Number 7. The worst thing about the monster stonefish is that it's one of many breeds of aquatic creatures that prefer the act of camouflage over being an active predator. It will allow the prey to come to them and then use its venomous spines to do the rest of the work, but that's where it puts humans in such danger because it will blend into the environment and then they'll accidentally step on it getting injected with its venom. The stonefish is a killer if you let it be. It's truthfully one of the most venomous things in the world. That's all from the ocean's depths today. Which of these underwater monsters gave you the greatest fright and which would you be willing to see up close? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching.